Welcome into Payoff Pitch Action Network's MLB betting podcast presented by BetMGM. Not your usual cast of suspects. Yes, BJ Cunningham is here, but I'm your host, Charlie DiSturco, alongside Jim Turvey. All right, guys, 8-game slate, not the most pretty one. You know, the Oakland Athletics have been on a complete roll, which is, I think, why they put me in the hosting chair, not Brendan today, because we had to take our celebratory run and introduce them early on. But neither of you are targeting them for your best bets. Jim, we'll start with you. Where are you headed?
Yeah, I'm going Yandy Diaz to score a run minus 105. Look, here is so he's going up against those A's you just talked about. And this is a historically bad A's team. It's a historically bad starting pitcher. And it's James Kaprielian with one of the highest walk rates in all of baseball. Yandy Diaz, an on-base machine. He's going to be getting a couple looks at Kaprielian here. He right now is tied for 6th in all of baseball in on-base percentage. The last time the Rays faced the A's was start of the season. This is when they came out to that insane start to the season. They scored 31 runs in this 3-game set against the A's. The A's bullpen also has the highest walk rate. Yandy's sitting at the top of this lineup, and he's going to get a lot of chances to get on base, a lot of chances to come around to score. Getting this at minus 105 with the implied odds just over 50%. It's a great look. He's hitting this at a higher rate than that for the regular season as a whole. And then this dream matchup, you know, it only improves those odds even better. So yeah, I'm looking at Yandy Diaz to score a run as best bet today.
Yeah, little hint, I'm going to be including Yandy Diaz in my 777s. A 180 WRC plus against right-handed pitching. You look at his numbers, they're pretty staggering across the board, and batting atop that Rays lineup against righties, which they're so known to destroy. Definitely a great look. BJ, let's see. Are you going Red Sox to start off the top? Or are we going elsewhere?
No, I mean, I'll have the Red Sox included as one of my bets, but no, I like the Phillies at minus 105 on the road against Arizona tonight. I mean, the Diamondbacks are red hot right now. I mean, they're 40-25. They've won 5 straight games. Now they're sitting atop the NL West, but I think this is a good time to fade them. Matt Strom's going to be on the mound for the Phillies. He's been pretty solid since he's made the jump to the starting rotation, and his numbers between being a reliever and a starter are essentially the same. He's sitting with a 3.38 expected ERA, and his K per 9 rate is getting up there close to 12. And he actually has a higher K per 9 rate as a starter than he does as a reliever. And Strom has an absolutely nasty slider that opposing hitters only have a 178 expected batting average against. He's producing around a 38% whiff rate. The Diamondbacks, they're a very good offense, but they're one of the best fastball hitting teams in baseball. Outside of that, they're pretty average against every other pitch type, including sliders, where they have a -2 run value. Tommy Henry is going to be on the mound. I think he's a good pitcher to fade if you're looking to fade the Diamondbacks. He does have some interesting numbers. He's a pitch to contact pitcher. He's got one of the lowest K per 9 rates, I think, in all of baseball at 5.3. And doesn't have that great of control either because his walk per 9 rate's up closer to 4. But if you look at his, average exit velocity allowed, average or hard hit rate allowed, he's up around the 90th percentile. But then you look at his barrel rate allowed, and it's like, okay, now he's around the 40th to 35th percentile. His stuff plus is 82. For context, Madison Bumgarner's stuff plus this season was 83, and he got DFA'd very quickly early on this season. So I think this is a good opportunity here to fade Tommy Henry and the Diamondbacks. If you look at the bullpen numbers, essentially the same between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks through all the metrics. So I like the Phillies at minus 105.
Yeah, and I think a key here too, Trey Turner obviously hitting a lot better as of late, breaking out of that slump, making contact and expected WOBA-wise up there toward the top. Castellanos also crushing left-handed pitching. Phillies not as good against left-handed pitching this year as last, but it's only a matter of time with all these pieces rolling around.
Right.
So let's fade the public here. We are targeting, both of you guys have a bet in this game. We're heading out. LA Angels, Texas Rangers, Tyler Anderson taking on stunning Dane Dunning. 89% of the bets, 96% of the money, all over Texas. I don't know if that's really come to a surprise to any of us here because the Rangers starring early on while the Angels rate just barely above 500. Jim, I'm going to kick it to you first. Where do you see an edge between these two starting pitchers?
I'm all over the Rangers here. This number came out and it was originally the Angels' favorite. I hope anyone caught that they could that on the Rangers side, because I'm going to be all over Texas here. They get to face Tyler Anderson, who, as you mentioned, he's not having a good season. He's regressed strong from last year. Last year, he looked really good. This year, none of the numbers look like last season. His ERA is well over 5. He's at 5.62, and none of the peripherals are saying that he's getting unlucky. It's pretty well earned. He's got 5.02 xERA, 5.98 xFIP. The biggest thing is his walks have more than doubled. He went from having pretty good control last season. He's up to 4.37 walks per 9. So his velocity is down as well. He's kind of seems like a pitcher who's maybe struggling with the pitch clock. I tried to dig into that a little bit. He didn't seem like he was a slow pitcher last year. He doesn't seem like he's a slow pitcher this year, but he's just not who he was last year. It seems like he's being priced at a level that, is based off of last year when really we haven't seen that guy all year. This is a really good Rangers lineup against lefties too. They got 130 weighted runs created plus against lefties. That's third in baseball. And if you just go down the potential lineup, it's basically every single hitter. The depth there is insane too. So they could put out their likely starting lineup is going to have 9 guys with a weighted run created plus over 105 against lefties. So there's going to be absolutely no breaks for Anderson on the day. Josh Young and Jonah Heim, they're 2 kind of breakout players. They're leading the way for them against lefties. I think they're going to make the day really hard for Anderson. I think Dunning's due for a little bit of regression. But overall, I really like the spot for the Rangers. They're the best team in the first 5 against the spread in all of baseball this season. So I just think the market hasn't quite caught up to how good of a team this is. I'm going to target the first 5, but I like full game. Really anything Rangers today I'm on.
Yeah, the Rangers, it seems every time they face a pitcher, they're just clobbering them at this point. I don't know if it's the technology that they're kind of introducing that's really seeing opposing pitchers extremely well. They're the number 1 team as far as overs go. 60% of games thus far have gone full game over. BJ, I'll kick it to you. You see an edge on a side, or are you targeting a total here?
No, I do like you mentioned. I like the total, and over 9.5. You can find -115 out there as the best price. Jim mentioned Dane Dunning. He is due for some regression. I mean, he's got a 2.5 ERA, but his expected ERA is well above 4 here. And if you look at his Statcast metrics, he's 40th percentile in average exit velocity allowed, hard hit rate allowed. His barrel rate allowed is around 50%, and and then you look at his expected ERA, he's in the 30th percentile. So he's due for a little bit of aggression. And the Angels do hit left-handed pitching well. They're 7th in weighted on base average. And like you mentioned with the Rangers, they just won't stop hitting. They hit both righties and lefties well. So for Tyler Anderson, who has regressed, like Jim said, a lot, I think this is a good opportunity here for an over. I'm projecting around 10.6 runs. So I like over 9.5 at -115.
I'm just going to pose this question to either of you two. Tyler Anderson, do we think it's a Los Angeles Dodgers thing that turned it around? It seems like a lot of pitchers can go there, except for Noah Syndergaard, to turn their season around, and then as soon as they leave, it almost like they just kind of struggle.
I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. It is funny because Tyler Anderson forever was a very average pitcher, and the problem with him as well is he spent a lot of time pitching in Coors Field, so his numbers got inflated from there. And even if you look through his numbers at Coors Field, I mean, in 2018 he was a 3.68 expected ERA pitcher. And even his first season in Colorado as well, he was 3.14. So it's not like he was a bad pitcher. And then he kind of fell off the table with Colorado, and then he went to the Giants and was pretty below average. And then he got to the Dodgers, who obviously have, an elite coaching staff, a great offense where it's a lot easier pitching with a big lead rather than, pitching in Coors Field down 5 runs. So maybe it's just something different about, pitching with a lead versus not. But yeah, I mean, coming here, we'll see how he goes throughout the season, but he's a guy who needs to keep the ball off the bat. Because he's a pitch to contact hitter. So looks like he's just struggling in that aspect. So we'll see if he turns it around.
Yeah. Rangers did open up -105, as Jim mentioned, underdogs, and now they're all the way up to -160. So the money definitely pouring in on Texas to take down LA here. All right, gents, we're not talking Oakland Athletics here, but the underdog of the day, the dogs are barking. I'm going to kick it to Jim first, taking one of the most fun teams in all of baseball right now. Jim, why are you back in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I'm going with just a massive underdog here. We got the Reds at +105, even money in most books. So I'm cheating a little bit here, but honestly, on a slate like today, we talked about how this slate's a little bit lighter. Any of the really big dogs, I didn't see, any sort of an edge. So this Reds pick is a little bit more of a lean than a full bet, to be honest. These new look Reds are so fun. So, it doesn't hurt to throw a little money on them if you just want to watch one of the most fun young teams in baseball right now. but I think they do have an edge here. They're going to be going against Zach Greinke and the Royals. Zach Greinke's the type of pitcher who, it's hard to picture someone like Ellie De La Cruz, being flummoxed by Zach Greinke, but at the same time, he's got a pretty decent ERA and pretty good peripherals this year. So he's doing all right. Luke Weaver, who's going to be on the mound for the Reds, he's had some really bad home run luck this year. That's mostly been the cause of his high ERA. Getting out of Cincinnati and being able to go to Kauffman to pitch against the Royals and a pretty weak lineup. That should do him some good. The weather there isn't looking like the ball's going to be flying out of the park either. So this is just a slight underdog, and it's just a slight lean for me. But I do think there's a little bit of an edge to be had here, getting the Reds at plus money.
BJ, where are you going?
I like an even more massive underdog. I like the Cardinals at plus 115. Logan Webb's been great this season. He is due for a little bit of negative regression, around 3.1 ERA, around 3.7 expected ERA. But Logan Webb is a pitcher that needs everything to be down in the zone to be effective because he has a sinker, changeup, and a slider. Those are his main 3 pitches, and he has a ground ball rate around 58%. Well, the Cardinals are one of the lowest teams in baseball in terms of their ground ball percentage, and they're very, very good against both right-handed sinkers and changeups. 293 expected batting average, 364 expected weighted on base average against those pitches. Matthew Liberatore will be on the mound for the Cardinals. He projects out to be a back-end rotation type of guy. He hasn't been good to start this season. He's had 2 really bad starts on the road against Cleveland. And like we already mentioned, the Rangers, who are one of the best lineups in baseball. He'll be coming home to friendly confines and face a Giants lineup that is much worse against left-handed pitching than they are against righties. And if you look at the bullpen numbers, these teams are essentially the same. If you look at Stuff Plus, XFIP, whatever the metric is, they're pretty much the same. So giving the Cardinals a little bit of home field advantage here, I think there's some slight edge on St. Louis at plus 115.
Yeah, this is just to show you an 8-game slate and how gross it is. Underdogs of plus 115 and plus 105 is our top of the day. A lot of heavy favorites across the board too. But there you have it. Reds, Cardinals are payoff pitch underdogs of the day. All right, before we let everyone go, we got to get our final bets. I, of course, will have my 777s, which drops Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, usually around that 12 to 1 p.m. range. So if you're interested in some player props, I already mentioned Yandy Diaz is one of the 3. The other 2, you'll have to click the article to find out. But Jim is going to tell you the rest of his slate right now. And Jim, take it away.
Absolutely. So BJ kind of walked through one of the looks that I had earlier. I'm on the Phillies as well. I really like Matt Strom. A lot of what BJ was saying, I'm not going to repeat it here, just because he just laid it out for us. But Rob Thompson also said that they have pretty much every arm available. So this might be Strom getting through the lineup once, and then we get, kind of top arms up and down the line for Philly here against Arizona. I also kind of am looking at the under in that game. I am not a big Henry guy either, but I think that it could be a quicker hook for him. You mentioned, Charlie, that Philly hasn't been quite as good against lefties. And these are 2 bullpens. They're really well rested. Arizona's bullpen, only one of their top 5 has pitched on Sunday. And then for the Phillies, like I just said, Thompson said everyone's available. So that's a pretty high, you're able to get to 10 there. So if you can grab under 10, I don't hate that look. And then finally, this prop isn't out yet. And it's only at a couple books when it dropped, but I'm looking at the Braves team total over. I think the reason it isn't out yet is Tyler Anderson's still projected, but it's not coming through on everything. It hasn't been made official, but if he does start, I'm going to be looking at the Braves team total. It's a team that absolutely destroys lefties. He had 3 of the top 17 hitters in all of baseball by weighted runs created plus against left-handed pitchers this season. They got, Acuna, Ozzie Albies, and Sean Murphy, who are just really doing damage against Southpaws. And Tyler Alexander, the one thing he does kind of do well is he limits walks, but against this Braves team, you do not want the ball in play. That's actually, if anything, giving up a free pass to Acuna isn't the worst thing. They put the ball in play harder than any other team in baseball. So I see this as a really bad matchup for Alexander. And if you can grab that Braves team total over, especially in the first 5 innings, that's going to be a play I'm looking at.
All right, you gentlemen convinced me on the Phillies. I'm going to take the Phillies too. It also the bullpen day after Strom, the Phillies bullpen, as you said, well rested, and it's interesting with the Tigers. Also, they Foley pitched last night, blew the save. He's probably not available today. Alex Lang, he also pitched yesterday. Who knows if he's going to go back to back. So the Tigers already have a pretty average bullpen. To then lose two of their higher leverage arms might also kind of help you in that aspect if they give Tyler Alexander a quick hook and have to spend a long time with their bullpen. BJ, a couple more bets. It's been about 20 minutes now, and my bet of you not bringing up the Red Sox this far in advance did not hit. So why don't you start there and take us home with the rest?
Yeah, I mean, I've already mentioned my other three bets. The only one I have left on the slate is the over in the Rockies and Red Sox game. What you have here is a situation of two teams that both hit left-handed pitching, or excuse me, the Rockies hit left-handed pitching very, very well. James Paxton will be on the mound. The projections of Paxton are very interesting. If you look through his historical numbers, he's obviously a very, very good pitcher in terms of his expected ERA. And this season, he's been fine. And if he turns out to be great, that's awesome. But a lot of the projections with him not pitching essentially for the last two seasons are very, very low on him. And the Rockies do hit lefties, like I already mentioned, very, very well. Connor Siebold will be on the mound for the Rockies. I'm not sure how long he's actually going to go in this one, but I mean, the Red Sox absolutely crush right-handed pitching. So I think this is a tad low here, especially being at Fenway Park on a beautiful 70-degree day in Boston. So I like the over 9.5 or 9.5 at -115 in that one. And like I already mentioned, Phillies -105, Rangers, Angels over 9.5, and Cardinals +115 are my other bets.
All right, there you have it. Jim's bets, BJ's bets, just my 777s. Don't forget to follow them inside the award-winning free Action Network app. You can follow Jim at Turvey Bets, TurveyBets, and BJ Cunningham at his name. It's pretty easy to spell. Me at Charlie DeCirco as well. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate your feedback. Go on, give a 5-star rating. Say this host Charlie might be a little bit better than Brendan this time around. For BJ Cunningham and Jim Turvey, I'm Charlie DeCirco. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Maybe not the same crew of suspects, but thanks for listening to Payoff Pitch, Action Network's MLB betting podcast presented by BetMGM. Y'all have a good day and good luck.